welcome to Editing with My Wife, now with more explosives. I'm the Hooded Philosopher, and I'm here with my wife, Cheesy Loops. Cheesy, what are we doing here?
We're making a podcast where we write about animals who like to be helpful.
All right. Speaking of animals, from what I understand, Bunkr did a lot of stuff in the 14th chapter.
Yes, she did.
Whoa. I did not like that. Okay.
Alright. Chapter 14. The bullets exist for a reason.
They come back after, because they had to form another plan after saving their mom.
Uh-huh.
And the boys have to go in and stop Infra-ship's control over Zig.
Yes.
So they go do that. Then they go. Leslie gets a plan to go down to the president, plant the seed in the garden. I know. Plant the seed in the garden, and then everything runs into chaos once a portal opens up and people start funneling out. Lots of people die. Renner goes down saves a bunch of people, and that's where we are.
Hooded likes to change things on the TV.
Well, I was thinking, what if I just tried to do it?
Okay.
Was that a pretty reasonable recap?
Yeah.
Because that's what all that really is there for, is for me to remember and for if anyone else wants to read those words to kind of jog their memory.
Right.
All right. But we are on chapter 16.
Not a monster.
Not the mama.
All right.
Zig was sitting in the back of the room with a sullen face.
There's a broadcast happening down there. Go ahead.
The far right of the screen showed an image. It was an alien. It looked a bit bigger than a human. Gangly bits hanging off of him. His grin was sharp and overbearing, and there seemed to be a great big cloak over his shoulders, giving him an air of alien military. It was just standing there as growling sound came from it. He was mumbling orders to people around him. Then it spoke in a voice that brought fear. "Your whole world will fall. We demand you lay down arms and die." There was no hope in the voice that came from the alien. Zig was crying.
He used our people's image as a horror, a nightmare, a villain.
"That's what your race looks like?" Hannah sympathized, standing up to get a better look. "I don't think it looks too scary. What about you, Izzy?" she asked, looking at Izzy. Izzy smiled. "I think you should look like that all the time." Otto joined in.
I want to get to know the real Zig. Besides, if you look like that and are as kind as you've always been, he'll feel less scary.
Renner was feeling...
One of the places, like dealing with physically.
Renner was feeling one of the places that the event stabbed him.
You've been so good to us, we can't help but want to know the real being that's treated us so kindly.
The feelings were overwhelming to all involved. Silence prevailed as the group sat in the emotional vulnerability, love conquering fear. Zig changed from his human form to that of his people. He wore no cloak. Instead, he wore a rather dashing kimono-like robe that looked nothing like a human made it. Inspired, he said, by his people. If we don't ever want to hate you, it'll make it harder for us to hate him. Thank you for being you, Hannah said, wrapping her arms around her. Hannah said, wrapping her arms around his misty form.
What can we do next?
Renner asked after an appropriate amount of time.
All we can do now is try to put back as many people as we can. I'm afraid I don't know how to stop the progress. Some event will happen in the future that will cause another 2 Earths to disappear, then 4, then 8.
Zig trailed off.
Then the tidal forces of divinity will condense all consciousness, making one being the master of all, free to use that power as he wishes.
Zig was defeated. All he wanted to do was stop this, but his presence here caused all of it.
Okay.
Renner spoke up. I know.
Let's get as many of these people back to Infra-Earth as we can.
Hannah stood up, apostrophe poking his head out, barking for his mate's attention. Izzy stood up next to her sister. They looked at each other and smiled. Let's do this. Otto was leaning against the wall by the table.
How did he get a portal open?
That's okay. You gotta read it.
It takes an enormous amount of energy to do it. It is feasible that they use electrical grid across your nation. After some time, we will be able to reacquire Infra-ship. Until then, you are the only people who can help put this back together. Their portal has been closed, for now, and they will find it difficult to open a portal into this dimension. Is there my line? Sorry. Yeah, it is, right? Sorry. I wanted to make sure that gets put in there. Zig will guide us to the people from HQ. From HQ. We will put them back, bring them here to Zig, or bring them here to Zig. Renner ordered. Zig nodded his head. I'm reading your part, sorry.
Zig nodded and they got ready to go, allowing Zig time to prepare on his side. When they were ready, the four teleported down to the White House. Where are we going, Zig? Izzy asked.
Please push the button on the bottom of your box, Izzy.
Zig instructed. When she did, Zig mist spilled out of the bottom, landing on the floor, then snaking away toward the door.
Follow the Zig mist.
Hannah had an idea, so she pulled out apostrophe and whispered, "Help us by scouting." She got an intention to do it with his mate, so she asked Izzy. They went ahead, silently creeping. Izzy was confused. How did you talk to him when we're not on Zig?
Just a feature of her gift.
Zig answered. You scroll?
Yeah.
Scroll. Hey, there we go. Hannah looked back at Renner, who was standing next to Bunkr. She smiled. She's ready, and so am I. Renner took the lead, the Zig mist lingering around his feet, pointing the way. Then Hannah, who was preparing a shield and handing Izzy the sword, creeping down the hallway, they began to hear a man talking on the other side of the wall. The Zig mist climbed the wall, revealing the form of two men. One was tied to a chair, the other holding a gun and demanding things of him. Excuse me. The little sugar glider came back to Hannah, reporting the layout of the room. I'm going to try and trap him, she whispered. She got close to the entrance and knelt down. She put her fingertips on the ground. Living metal came pouring out of her and slid invisibly along the ground, forming a thin line. It slowly surrounded the man. Then, when the circle finished, she used all of her might and metal to surround him. It took fractions of a second for the metal to form a column around the man with the gun. Inside the column, the man in the gun was banging and shouting in what they guessed was Arabic. Oof. Otto opened a portal by the metal column as Renner freed the captive, to which she opened a space for him to walk through. Back.
Are you confused?
Yeah, that line was...
She opened a portal, and then she opened the metal just enough for him to go through the portal.
Otto opened a portal by the metal column?
By the metal column, and then she opened a spot for him to walk into the portal, to go back.
Oh.
But just keep reading it. We'll fix that when we come back.
Okay. He didn't move at all, shouting, "Let me out." Just go home, Hannah pleaded.
Just go home! Sorry, I think it's a funny line. Just do it! Sorry, go ahead.
It's your turn.
Never! You'll have to kill me, alien scum!
He responded as Hannah began decreasing the circumference of the column until he went through the portal. Otto closed the portal, quipping,
I guess he didn't want us to kill him after all.
What do we do with the poor hostage? Hannah reached up to his mouth and removed the gag, and asked, Where do you want to go? Otto had begun undoing his hands. He stood up, saying,
I'm with the VP. Send me there.
The man was gone. The twins returned to their task. They followed the Zig mist to a wall where it showed a scene of 4 men around a table.
I'm missing. I got lost. Sorry.
Yeah, you did. All of these men need to go back, Zig explained.
Right here.
Armored apostrophe and comma returned. There are 2 entrances, 1 window, and they have no guns. Izzy was carrying the sword over her shoulder. Bunkr will run by the door. When she does, Otto put a portal on the doorway. And if they don't run out the portal, when Izzy and I will intimidate them to going through the portal. Holy Hannah.
Bunkr will run by the door.
Huh?
And when she does, Otto will put a portal by that doorway. And if they don't just run out the portal, then Izzy will intimidate them into going through the portal.
Yes. Yes. No, that made sense. That
Okay. It was just a lot of sentence.
My throat's a little sore today. The girls got into position. Bunkr sprinted by the door with a loud bark. All 4 men stood up. One of them motioned for them to stop. "Don't! It's a trick! We're not alone." Izzy walked through the door clad in metal that seemed to flow like a dress. She was flying, carrying the massive sword in the ready position. 3 of the men ran through the portal. "You can't intimidate..." He didn't finish because Izzy, in her most theatrical voice, given resonance by the way the metal helmet sat on her head, yelled, "Run!" It came out almost demonic. So the man begrudgingly went through the portal. Bunkr came back as they regrouped by the entrance where the portal was. The Zygmus poured out of the bottom of Izzy's box as she held it in front of her. They heard voices down the hall. "I heard the bark come from here," the voice was approaching. Renner nudged Otto. The girl stayed back. Renner took the rifle from Otto and pointed it down the hallway. 2 men came around the corner, only feet from them.
Where a barrel of an assault rifle. Within a barrel of an...
A portal opened.
Feet from a barrel of an assault rifle that Renner was holding.
A portal opened. Instead of shooting the men, which would have been noisy and bloody, Renner simply threatened, "Go through or die."
Or die.
The men were startled, so they went through. Otto closed the portal, huffing.
"I need a second. This is hard." It's nothing.
He was crouched, trying to catch his breath. Hannah was next to him. "We hear you. What can we do?"
"I'll open it one more time and let's get as many as we can in a single portal." Okay, let's go find a good place to set up.
They followed the Zygmus to the next spot. "Ahead is a rather large group with weapons," Zig reported. They got close enough to hear the chanting of a rather large crowd. Interesting. They were surrounding something outside
Can't quite make out what they're saying.
No.
Okay.
No. Rather. They were surrounding something outside the front lawn of the White House. They finally understood what they were chanting. "Blow it up. Blow it up. Blow it up." Hannah's gasp was filled with anxiety. It shook the 4 to the core. "A bomb?" Izzy shouted in disbelief.
"Zig, they have a bomb,"
Renner said quietly.
"I am now detecting it, but I can't do anything. It seems to be locked in this place in all dimensions. It's anchored to someone. You need to find them and take that device from them."
Otto put on his black rings.
"I don't want to blow up,"
he said as he opened his periscope. He was looking through the eyes of the man with the bomb detonator in his right hand. His left hand came to view was missing a pinky. Otto relayed the information, then they scoured the group for those signs, but nothing came of it. Otto was analyzing the point of view in front of him. He saw a man to the fence on the other side of the grounds. "Zig, what do we do?" Zig responded after the girls disappeared.
Yeah, they just disappeared.
Okay.
And then he explains, "I'm putting Hannah and Izzy on the other side of the road, behind cover. They will make a move, and when you are ready, you two must push the man with the detonator into a portal."
They heard Izzy in their heads from across the street. "Hannah's going to distract them once you spotted the man tied to the bomb." Otto and Renner were busy trying to find anything that could be the man when Otto spotted him on the far left by the gate. "We found them," Otto said, pointing out to Renner. Suddenly, everything fell quiet as a massive form of Troon appeared over the trees of Lafayette Square. The crowd fell deathly silent in anticipation of what the beast in front of them might do. Otto and Renner began sprinting toward the man with the detonator. Renner grabbed the man by the arm and ripped the detonator out of his hand, placing a boot on his chest. Kicked him, sending him to the ground. The portal appeared behind him. He crawled into the portal, afraid for his life. Many of the others followed suit. The situation resolved while the military on our side was attacking the Troon that melted away at gunfire from all directions. Hannah absorbed the metal back in and ran across the street with Izzy when they met up with the boys. The military was on the street pointing various and plentiful
barrels in their direction.
The team,
like variously sized, and many of them.
The team was gone before anything could happen. "How many more are out there?" Renner said, looking to the screen for the information. It displayed several dots across map.
Sorry.
It displayed several dots across map. Take us to the next one. He was eager, but Zig knew better. We need to eat and rest, Izzy told Renner, who didn't notice that Otto had collapsed and Hannah was sitting next to him, exhausted.
Renner's still raring to go, like a little puppy dog.
Oh, Renner doesn't have to use as much power as them. Alright, this one's fraught with finaglies.
Oh, no. Yeah, some misplaced things.
Yeah.
Alright, that's better. Let's get to the top and bust this thing out.
Zig was sitting in the back of the room with a sullen face. There's a broadcast happening down there. The far right screen showed an image, comma, or period. It was an alien. It looked to be a bit bigger than a human. Gangly bits hanging off of him. His grin was sharp and overbearing. There seemed to be a great
That's a
big...
lot of commas.
Yeah, you can...
The far right of the screen showed
well,
an
you could do a
image.
period after
alien.
overbearing.
Okay, alien and overbearing could be sentences.
Yeah, the end of overbearing can be a sentence. There seemed to be a great big cloak over his shoulders, giving him an air of alien military. It was just standing there. There could be a period too.
Yeah, I'm noticing.
As
growling sound came from its voice.
A growling sound came from it. Yeah. He was mumbling orders to people around him.
Those two things are related. His growling sound is the mumbling he's ordering. Okay. I just wanted to make sure
when it spoke,
he's not grumbling and then mumbling. It doesn't.
Yeah. Then it spoke with a voice that brought fear.
Which is a comma.
Your whole world will fall. Period. We demand you lay down arms and die. There was no hope in the voice that came from the alien.
What do you think about that?
How
do you feel about the idea of Zig's face being used as an evil thing and him kind of regretting it? That all makes sense?
Yes.
His feelings all feel natural to something.
Yes.
Even though it's an alien, bioluminescent hologram, whatever.
Zig was crying. He uses our people's image as a horror, a nightmare, a villain. This is what your race looks like, Hannah sympathized, standing up to get a better look. I don't think it looks too scary.
It's very saccharine.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. Very kind. Which is kind of what I'm going for. I mean, the silence prevailed as the group sat in emotional vulnerability, love conquering fear.
Uh-huh.
I think that's just a really good sentence. That all of us could do that more. Sit in the emotional vulnerability and let the love that comes from it conquer any fear that you might feel from others' reactions.
Yes.
I really like that line myself.
Looking at Izzy smiled. I think you should look like that all the time. I want to get to know the real Zig. Besides, if you look like that and are as kind as you have always been, he will feel less scary.
I really like what Otto says too.
Renner was feeling one of the places that the Ifrit had stabbed him.
What else could I say there? Because that's catching you up, and it'd catch a reader.
You know why it's catching me up?
Why?
Because I want to say Renner was feeling out of place, but he's not, because he's saying something else.
Renner
was massaging one of the places the Ifrit. If you do massaging,
massage is better. Yeah. The idea is he's remembering it.
Yeah.
And he's remembering how much pain he would be in right now if not for the curative.
Right.
So, I mean, and then he says,
"You've been so good to us, we can't help but want to know the real thing that has been treating us so kindly."
I don't know how to spell.
That was right. You just got to make it. Yeah. The feelings were overwhelming to all involved. Silence prevailed as the group sat in emotional vulnerability. Love conquering fear.
And that capital L is intentional.
Yeah. Zig changed from his human form into that of his people.
I am more than happy to... I just kind of came with that on the spot. The gangly bits, too. I mean, he can look like whatever. Gangly bits isn't enough of a descriptor to really mean anything anyway.
Well, and honestly, Infra-ship can punch up a little bit of their normal anatomy to make it more to his needs.
Yeah, he can change it to whatever he needs.
Yeah.
But like Hannah would want to be human in the future, even if she kind of becomes something like Zig. she would want to be human to the people.
Yeah.
And she would probably hide it to this other alien race because she wouldn't want to spook them. She would want to be a part of them and help them adapt because that's what good does.
Right.
Anyway.
Instead he wore a rather dashing kimono-like robe. I feel like kimono-like robe. Should there be hashes in there?
I think it would say that there needs to be hashes in there.
No, why would it say that? It's not
like it would have a line.
No, it wouldn't.
Oh.
It wouldn't auto do that for you. Kimono-like robe that looked nothing like a human had made it. Inspired, he said, by his people.
What this?
That looked distinctly human?
Yes.
What that means? I see.
I flipped it around.
You did flip it around.
He says, okay, I'll be me, but I'm going to put your clothes on to show kind of that respect and that care for you.
I see. Okay.
Kind of keep touching back in that sensitivity with you and connect with you in that way, at least. Uh-huh. Anyway, I like that change. Let me know in the comments if you think that change was worth it, because I think that change was worth it.
Oh, crud.
Well,
no.
You're looking at your phone.
3 minutes.
I thought I deleted the other stuff.
That's okay.
I'll have to check it out.
Well, I'm just going to delete it for now, and then we can keep going. I just went to go clean up my thing while you were typing. If we don't ever want to hate you, it'll make it harder for us to hate him. Thank you for being you. Which is not necessarily what he wants. He doesn't want them to hate Infra-ship.
That's what Hannah cares about.
And so...
Hannah doesn't want to hate anybody, even Infra-ship. She wants to understand what's going on. Especially with her new power, she starts to see why it's so important to connect with that kind of person who is like ahead of her in this thing she's adapted to.
Yeah, and then on top of it all, like, they don't...
But that isn't it, because in the second...
I feel like Hannah also kind of gets an idea...
I think you're right, actually. What needs to change is this needs to say...
Clack, 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 clack. If we don't ever want to be afraid of you, it'll make it harder for us to be afraid of him.
Like if you look like you, it's gonna make it'll make it easier for us to not be afraid of him when he shows up.
Oh yeah.
Because he looks different, and that's a hard thing to get used to. And then the thank you for being you. That's just so Hannah.
Yeah.
Just trying to get to the point, I think.
Hannah said, wrapping her arms around his misty form. What can we do next? Renner asked after an appropriate amount of time. What's an appropriate amount of time?
Whatever it took for the Heg to stop and them to kind of realize they're back in reality after that connection. Yeah.
All we can do now is try and put back as many people as we can. I'm afraid I don't know how to stop the progress. That's better.
Yeah, I just changed the word to respectful amount of time. Renner asked after a respectful amount of time.
Some event will happen in the future that will cause another 2 Earths to appear. Then 4, then 8. Zig trailed off. Then the tidal forces of divinity will condense all consciousness, making one being the master of it all, free to use that power as it wishes. Witches.
Witch woman!
Zig was defeated. All he wanted to do was stop this, but his presence here caused all of it.
Is that clear?
Yes. Hey,
it's interesting.
Quit it with
when we end this story, you have a deeper understanding of what Infra-ship is doing, and I can say this is in question.
Go.
She's just doing all the pantons, and you don't want it on the cameras, on the microphones.
On the microphones.
She's just a tiny bogan.
They're just gonna hear the dog panting.
She's a little tiny scary thing. She's so cozy in her hole. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, as I was saying.
Yeah.
This isn't quite the case in the end. Just so you know, that's why I'm stopping here.
Okay.
In fact, I can do this. Where was it?
Right there.
There you go. So we can maybe when we're going through it again, see it, and then remember why I said that. Or I can come back and find that highlighted line.
Alright, make sure you put your pointer back on. Pointer! Okay, Renner spoke up. Put your quotes in.
Put your quotes in.
Doo-dee-doo.
Put your quotes in.
Doo-dee-doo. Okay, but you're not done with the quotes. Renner spoke up. Let's get as many of these people back to Infra-Earth as we can.
I got one of them in.
Uh-huh.
Hannah stood up, apostrophe poking his head out, barking for his mate's attention. As he stood up next to her sister, they looked at each other and smiled. I wonder if it wouldn't hurt to do that.
Oi.
That way we don't have to go from one side of the screen to the other, but look what it did.
It did.
Messed up the highlighting.
It did mess up the highlighting. And it took us back a few chapters.
Let's open it back up. Just going to quickly clear this up. That was a failure. Do not try to change the size of it when. Oh, well, that was too far. It's right there. All right.
You're too far down now. Up.
There.
Okay, Renner spoke up. Let's get as many of these people back to Infra-Earth as we can. Should you enter Hannah? Because then the girls looked at each other and smiled. Let's do this. With the Huffins.
Otto was leaning against the wall by the table. How did he get a portal open? It takes an enormous amount of energy to do it. It is feasible that they used the electrical grid across your nation. After some time, we will be able to reacquire Infra-Zig. Until then, you are the only people who can put this back together. Their portal has been closed for now, and they will find it difficult to open a portal into this dimension.
Really quickie, help me. So you put her up here.
Dog time. She needs love.
She does need love.
Get over here with love. All right. This is all good. I feel like
lay down.
That what I did here is these two can be here. Let's just see if it works. Oh, gosh, that's annoying. So instead it would see Otto was leaning against the wall by the table. How did he get a portal open? It takes an enormous amount of energy to do it. It is feasible that they use the electrical grid across your nation. After some time, we will be able to reacquire Infra-Zig. Until then, you are the only people who can help put this back together. The portal was closed for now. The portal has been closed for now, and they will find it difficult to open a portal into this dimension. Okay, Renner spoke up. Let's get as many of these people back to Infra-Earth as we can. Hannah stood up with apostrophe poking his head out, barking for his mate's attention. As he stood up to get her sister, they looked at each other. Let's do this.
Zig will guide us to the people from HQ. We'll put them back or bring them here to Zig, Renner ordered.
Zig. Allowing Zig time to prepare an aside.
Yeah.
When they were ready, the four teleported down into the White House.
So, question, they never actually bring them back to Zig?
What? Who?
They bring them back here to Zig. They never actually do that.
What do you mean?
They never bring anybody to Zig right here.
They don't.
Okay.
He was just saying if we can't get them to go home, we can at least bring them here. Yeah. That's what we'll do. Yeah.
Okay.
Get them into the bladder and then bring them to the ship.
Where are we going, Zig? Please push the button on the bottom of your box, Izzy. Zig instructed.
I don't think Izzy needs to ask. Please just... She just starts with that.
Basically, it's telling him they're ready. They're prepared.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Izzy's kind of like second in command.
When she did, Zig misspilled out of the bottom, landing on the floor. Then snaking. Landing on the floor should be common, front and back. Follow the Zygmist. Hannah had an idea, so she pulled out apostrophe and whispered, "Help us by scouting." She got an intention to do it with his mate, so she asked Izzy. She asked Izzy, but did Izzy actually pull out, comma? So she asked Izzy, and then they went ahead. They little sugar gliders? The little sugar gliders went ahead silently creeping.
You were thinking they all did, but it was just the two of them. Yeah. Which is a good catch. Izzy was confused. How did you talk to him when we're not on Zig? The wind doesn't need to be there. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, she's not really... you can always talk to them, but how did you understand him? How did you feel
okay, fair enough. Oh, feel is great. Feel to him. I felt pretty good. All right.
How did you feel him? We're not on Zig. Just a feature of her gift, Zig answered. It's like Zig's trying to protect Hannah some more here.
Yes, very much so. And in fact, the big thing here is that Hannah has a lot of power in that, and he needs that power too to help.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to lose it either. And she's a fragile thing in the end. Just a little tiny thing that could be trapped and crushed.
Like the fifth element.
Chicken, good.
Chicken. Do. Okay. Feature of a guest. Hannah looked back at Renner, who was standing next to Bunkr. She smiled. She's ready, and so am I. Renner took the lead, the Zygmist lingering around his feet, pointing the way, when Hannah, who was preparing a shield, and handing...
Yeah, that needs to be fixed.
Then Hannah, who was preparing a shield and handing the sword... the sword.
I don't think it's right. Something's wrong here. I think it should just be when Hannah prepared a shield. As says, the lingering around the feet, pointing the way, when Hannah prepared a shield and sword, handing the sword to Izzy. Something along those lines. But maybe
you can still stick with handing Izzy a sword. Not the sword.
The sword. No, it's the sword. It's the same sword she's always been used to. The big claymore thing that she makes. It's just giant hunk of living metal that she can swing at things. Big, thick piece of it that moves with her and is very light. It's the sword that Izzy likes.
Creeping down the hallway.
There could be a scene that I missed where Hannah and Izzy are talking about it and she says, "Ooh, try making a big claymore." Or something like that, because she likes swords. She likes fencing.
Yeah.
She likes using the swords. So she would know the names and she would have talked to her sister about them. And
Renner took the lead, comma. The Zygmist lingering around his feet, point... What are you scrolling for?
Sorry. It's just that thing's sensitive sometimes.
Renner took the lead, comma.
Yeah.
The Zygmist lingering around his feet, pointing the way, while Hannah was preparing a shield and handing Izzy the sword. As Hannah was preparing a shield and handing Izzy the sword.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I was preparing a shield. Okay.
Creeping down the hallway.
I could also do this.
Her favorite sword. Yeah, that's fine. Creeping down the hallway, they began to hear a man talking on the other side of the wall. The Zygmist climbed the wall, revealing the forms of two men.
You were going to say something. What was it?
Not yet. I'll tell you when it comes up.
Okay. Climbed the wall, revealing the forms of two men.
One was tied to a chair, the other holding a gun and demanding things of him. The little sugar glider came back to Hannah, reporting the layout of the room. "I'm going to try and trap him," she whispered. She got close to the entrance and knelt down. She put her fingertips on the ground. Living metal came pouring out of her and slid invisibly along the ground, forming a thin line.
Does that need to be added? It's not. It's kind of reflective.
It's
it's kind of
so tiny though. That's what it's near
invisibility. It's a thin line, kind of hard to see.
Slowly surrounded the men, and then
inconspicuous.
The circle had finished. She used all of her might and metal to surround him. It took fractions of a second. Now I took fractions of a second. By the way.
It took fractions of a second for the metal to form a column around the man with a gun.
This is the sentence I think I had a problem with.
Inside the column, the man with a gun was banging and shouting in what they guessed was Arabic.
Why'd you pick Arabic?
It's just random language.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. You happen to pick a language a lot of people have.
But what would you change it to? I just chose a random language. Should I put it French? It doesn't matter?
Yeah, do French.
Or I could just say what they guessed was a foreign language.
Yeah, you could do foreign language.
I'm sorry if I offended any Arabic people. I do not think you all are criminals. I love you all dearly.
You see why that was a little...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would never intend
inside the White House.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Oh, I need to put language in there.
I think you just randomly picked a language out of your head at the time.
Yes.
And it just so happens to be just the most awkward of ones you could pick.
Okay, that's fine. Otto opened the portal by the metal column as Renner freed the captive, to which she opened a space for him to walk through back to his world. Right?
But, so here's the funny thing. They opened the portal by the metal column as Renner freed the captive, to which she opened a space for him to walk through back to his world. But the captive's still there at the end, so both guys are still there. So
yeah,
who's walking back to his world? Well,
Renner shouldn't have freed the captive if she's...
Yeah, you see,
Okay, so... I have an idea.
There's a lot of inconsistencies in
here. Inconsistency could be.
Because then they asked where he wants to go.
So there's two people, right? And then he has this... Oh, good. She puts the barrier around one.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's circled out for me.
It's circled out for you.
And then Otto put a portal right there.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah. And then she opened the metal. So...
Yes. And then she opened this part of the metal. That did not work. She opened that little part of the metal there.
Uh-huh.
And allowed him to walk through. Told him to walk through.
Yeah.
Go through.
Okay, so get rid of as Renner freed the captive.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. Because that really I thought they were putting the captive through the portal.
What about... So that way, because the portal was in between them, so if he fired through the portal, Renner wouldn't know.
Wouldn't it fire through the portal?
Maybe.
To the other world?
What's the Renner is not letting risk happen here. He's removing a possible death. Period. They don't want to kill anyone.
Uh-huh.
They don't kill anyone, as far as I understand here, right? Yeah, they're good people.
Okay.
Good people don't kill people.
To which she opened a space for him to walk through back to his world. He didn't move at all, shouting, "Let me out." "Just go home," Hannah pleaded.
Just go home.
"Never. You'll have to kill me, alien scum," he responded as Hannah began decreasing the circumference of the column till he went through the portal. Otto closed the portal, quipping, "I guess he didn't want us to kill him after all." Yeah.
That way I kind of call back to it so I don't feel as racist.
Yeah, well,
This is a good quip?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do we do with the poor hostage?
Hannah reached up to his mouth and removed the gag and asked, "Where do you want to go?" Otto began his hands. He stood up saying, "I'm with the VP. Send me there."
What about that? Is that better?
Binding his hands, yeah.
Specifying.
He stood up saying, "I'm with the VP. Send me there."
Should
Quotes.
This is quotes. Should
Not
I
that.
write?
That's not quoted. Okay. "I'm with the VP. Send me there."
You think I would know this? You think I would be good at looking at this screen?
The man was gone.
How did he go?
Zig.
Okay. Zig still has access to Blue Earth, our Earth. I call it Blue Earth, and not Infra. They don't call it Blue Earth, but when you look out in space, they call it the pale blue dot, and that's what makes me think blue.
Yeah. The twins returned to their task. They followed the Zygmus to a wall where it showed the scene of 4 men around a table.
That's a quick transition.
Yeah, it's okay. They're moving through quickly. They're trying to get stuff. I think she's getting sleepies.
It's kind of warm in here, too.
And the heater's not even on.
Yeah. It's winter. Okay, anyway, that's good. All these men need to go back, Zig explained.
Yep. The armored apostrophe and comma returned. There are 2 entrances, 1 window, and they have no guns. Commas between entrances and 1. You're the typer.
Comma between entrances and 1.
And they have no guns. So I'm assuming this is Hannah because she's the only one that can communicate with them.
There are 2 entrances.
Yeah.
1 window. And they have no guns.
As a reader, I'm assuming this is Hannah. Because comma and apostrophe come back from their scouting.
There you go. That fixed it. Izzy was carrying the sword over her shoulder.
Looking. Oh, stop it.
Bunkr will run by the door, and when she does, Otto will...
So Bunkr should run by the door.
Bunkr will... Well, no, Izzy's just saying to do it.
Okay.
It's like... Izzy and Renner are kind of the same person here. So Izzy can command, but she's not going to jump in front of Renner.
I see.
But if Renner hasn't said something, she'll jump in.
Yeah.
Okay, Bunkr will run by the door. Otto, put up the portal by the doorway. If they don't run out the portal...
Then Izzy and I will intimidate them, which Izzy is talking. Or is this Renner talking?
Izzy was Izzy.
Okay, so then how does Izzy and Izzy intimidate them?
Oh, sorry.
Then Hannah and I will intimidate them into going through the portal. The girls got into position. Bunkr sprinted by the door with a loud bark. All 4 men stood up.
I think that should be soft bark.
A soft.
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 Soft. All 4 of the men stood up. One of them motioned for them to stop. Don't. It's a trick. We're not alone. Izzy walked through the door clad in metal that seemed to flow like a dress. She was flying, carrying a massive sword in the ready position.
Comma after flying.
3 of the men ran through the portal. You can't intimidate... He didn't finish because Izzy, in her most theatrical voice, given resonance by the metal in the helmet that sat on her head, yelled, "Run!" It came out almost demonic, so the man begrudgingly went through the portal. Bunkr came back as they regrouped by the entrance where the portal was. The Zigmist poured out of the bottom of the box as she held it in front of her. Now, they heard voices down the hall. "I heard the bark come from here." The voice was approaching. Renner nudged Otto. The girl stayed back. Renner took the rifle from Otto and pointed it down the hallway. 2 men came around the corner, only feet from the barrel of an assault rifle. A portal opened. Instead of shooting the men, which would have been noisy and bloody, Renner simply threatened, "Go through or die." The men were startled, so they went through. Otto closed the portal, huffing. "I need a second. This is hard."
Noisy and bloody.
Yeah.
Renner simply threatened.
He doesn't want to cause any blood or
Man, I
pain.
feel like I keep saying, put a comma there.
Where?
Noisy and bloody.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Comma. Renner simply threatened. The men were startled, so they went through. Otto closed the portal, huffing. "I need a second. This is hard." Instead, Renner simply threatened. Yeah.
Okay. The men were startled, so they went through. Otto closed the portal, huffing. "I need a second. This is hard." He was... Excuse me. He was not coughing. Who I am. He was crouching, trying to catch his breath. Hannah was next to him. "We hear..." Let's put that in the right place. "We hear you. What can we do?"
And then I'll open as Otto
Yes,
talking.
goodness gracious.
Yeah, you did this a lot.
I mean, when you're writing it, when I'm writing, I'm just throwing as much as I can onto the page. It's not about getting it right. It's about having the bones there so that we can do this.
I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta do this. Of course, I could do this alone, but you come up with such great ideas and you help me find them.
Okay.
And I really appreciate that.
I'll open it one more time. Period. Let's get as many as we can with a single portal. And then...
They get, like, the rest of the ones in the area.
Single portal, quotes, because that's the end of him talking, because someone else says, okay, let's find a good place to set up. And I don't know who says that.
Actually, I was thinking Renner could say that.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go find a good place to set up. If you do say, okay, I'm ready, let's go find a good place to set up.
Well, I like the idea of Hannah saying it, because she said, we can hear you, what can we do?
Okay.
And they'll do set up.
Set up the portal.
Set up.
They followed the Zygmus to the next spot.
Ahead is a rather large group with weapons. Zig reported. They got close enough to hear the chanting of a rather large crowd.
The only difference between what Zig said and that part is the word crowd and the word group. A rather large group, a rather large crowd. You could just say large crowd.
Or the, since it's referring to this large crowd is referring back to what Zig said, so they're talking about that specific one.
Okay.
Is that good? They got close enough to hear the chanting of the rather large crowd. Or I guess this could be just large crowd.
The large crowd, yeah. They were surrounding something.
They were surrounding something outside on the front lawn.
Oh.
Of the White House.
As they got closer.
Yeah. Let's try it.
As the team got closer, they could make out what they were chanting.
Blow it up!
Wait.
Blow it up! What?
They, not the.
Oh, as the team. No, as the team got closer, they could. There's another one there. I see.
Blow it up. Hannah's gasp was filled with anxiety. It shook the four of them to the core. A bomb? Izzy shouted in disbelief. Okay, so after Renner said quietly, we
spoiled.
I can't help but laugh about it.
Freaking capitalized W's.
I love it when you misspell words because it looks so fun. You're making up all these new words. They have a bomb, Renner said quietly. Enter.
I'm detecting it. I'm detecting it now. But I can't do anything. Seems to be locked in this place in all dimensions. It's anchored to someone. You need to find them and take the device from them.
What does he mean it's anchored to someone?
That if the person... he can't move it because the person is still on this world. Should I specify?
Yes.
I'm not sure what to say. It seems to be locked in this place in all dimensions. Someone...
Why would it be locked in all dimensions?
Because I don't want it to be... I want to be able to just teleport it away. If I'm being honest, it's pretty much just that.
So what would be a reasonable explanation as to why something is locked in a dimension?
You'd have to ask some sort of scientist, I guess. I could speculate. I don't know.
Could you like simply say that Infra-Zig did something to the bomb so I can't move it? Is that a possibility?
Something like that. I was trying to be more...
Vague?
Not vague, more descriptive, more nuanced about it. But the idea of adding infra-zig isn't a bad idea.
It's the return of the Clacks. It seems to be locked in this place in all dimensions. Period. Infra-zig may have tied it and the detonator to a nearby intruder. Alright, so periods after dimensions. That's too far forward. You need to find them and take the device from them. Get them through a portal if you can. I can remove it from the Earth.
If you can, I can remove it from the Earth. I teleport it into space.
Okay, so period after dimensions. The word right above your cursor. You need to find them, take the device from them, and then get them through the portal. So get rid of that "and" there at the end of find them. The other side.
You need to find them, take the device from them, and
get them through the portal.
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah, that's good.
So quick thinking here. Maybe that I need to say. Like, this is quick thinking. This is clear auto, too.
Yeah.
He gets the rings right away. He knows how to use them.
So the black rings... The black rings are the person he fears the most.
And right now there's a dude with a detonator he's scared of. A little more than Leslie.
Well, now that Leslie issue has kind of been solved, too.
Kind of. But the clone's still on the other Earth.
Yeah.
There's still someone over there.
Yes, but there's less fear there. So yeah.
No, there is no clone. That's why Infra-zig shows his face. Because they know he no longer has the voice that he once had. Because they ripped her out of the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. With quick thinking, Otto put on his black rings. I don't want to blow up, he said as he said with anxiety. With deep anxiety.
Oh, that felt good. Popped my neck.
There's Otto's humor, too. He's shown up a little more here.
Yeah, he has been showing up a little bit more, and I like it. Okay.
Blow up.
Voice has a period at the end of it. Get rid of it.
Oh.
As he opens his
Actually, it
parachute.
should be a comma here. And here. He said with deep anxiety in his
as
voice.
he was looking through the eyes
first
of the man with a bomb detonator in his right hand, his left hand came into view. Comma, period, after right hand.
Actually, it could be a period, yeah.
His left hand came into view.
It was missing a pinky.
It was missing a pinky. Very important information. The dude does
That's how they find him.
This
right?
Listen. The guy missing a pinky on his left hand apparently has struggled to put bombs together before, and therefore had lost a pinky in an explosion accident. And none of that was really good English.
Well, English isn't your first language.
Otto relayed the information. Then they scoured the group for those signs. Okay, this sentence is rough potatoes.
Where are we? Otto relayed the information, and then they scoured the group for the signs, for those signs. So they scoured the group for the man with the missing pinky. How about that?
Yes. Which, I mean, I appreciate, Otto, I really appreciate that you decided to look through your periscope to find any distinctive markers. But a missing pinky is probably the smallest distinctive marker you can have.
It's also the only one you can really see from the eyes. I guess he could have a tattoo.
No, I like the missing pinky.
They scoured the group for the man with the... Yeah, that was the idea. He blew off his pinky. So, Otto relayed the information.
Yes. They
scoured the group for the man with the missing pinky, but nothing came of it. Otto was analyzing the point of view in front of him when he saw the man. Oh no, this sentence didn't make any sense. Yeah. Otto was analyzing the point of view in front of him. He saw man to the fence on the other side of the ground.
Yeah, so you were trying to get more clues. Otto was trying to get more clues. So what more clues can Otto get?
Hold on. So Otto sees him here.
Through the periscope or no? That's what my thought was, that you were trying to get through.
Yes, analyzing the point of view means through the periscope. In front of him, he saw a man to the fence on the other side of the grounds. So now he's like, that's what he's doing. He's, what's that called? Triangulating. He sees a guy on the fence. He sees that guy's fence, so now he's trying to figure out what that point of view is. That's what that line is.
Okay.
So Otto is analyzing the point of view. In front of him, he saw a man on the fence on the other side of the grounds. He looked up and saw that same man. So the idea is he saw it, kind of. He's getting the idea, he's triangulating, he's figuring it out.
Yes.
And then... Zig, what do we do? Renner asked. Helpless. Sheesh, I can't type. Okay, I think I figured it out. Renner asked helplessly. Zig responded after the girls disappeared. I'm putting Hannah and Izzy on the other side of the road behind cover. They will make a move when they are ready. You two must push the man with the detonator into the portal. So he put Hannah and Izzy on the other side. Part of that is definitely protecting Hannah.
Yes.
But also, Hannah can cause a distraction.
Yes.
So, Hannah's very good at causing distraction. They heard Izzy in their heads from across the street. Hannah is going to distract them. Once you have spotted the man tied to the... Well, Hannah's going to distract them once... That's not a finished sentence. Alright. They heard Izzy in their heads from across the street. Hannah is going to distract them. Once you've spotted the man tied to the bomb, get to him fast. Is that good?
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Otto and Renner were busy trying to find anything that could be the man, when Otto spotted him by the far left gate. We found him, Otto said, pointing him out to Renner. Suddenly, everything fell quiet as the massive form of Troon appeared over the trees above Lafayette Square. And over the trees of Lafayette Square.
Real quick, I just noticed Hannah's going to distract them. Period. Once you've spotted the man tied to the bomb, get to him fast.
The crowd fell deathly silent in anticipation of what the beast in front of them might do. Otto and Renner began sprinting toward the man with the detonator. Renner grabbed the man by the arm and ripped the detonator out of his hand, placing the boot in his chest, kicking him, sending him to the ground. The portal appeared behind him, and he crawled through the portal, afraid for his life.
Okay, hold on. The portal appeared behind him.
Yeah, Otto opened the portal.
Yes. He crawled, so there needs to be a comma there between him and he.
Him and he?
Him, he.
That's me. I'm a him, he.
You're a him, he? He, him.
Is it plentiful bird?
Up. Nope, down. Right there. Appeared behind him. He crawled to the portal, afraid for his life. Many of the others followed suit. The situation was resolving. At gunpoint. The situation was resolving while the military on our side was attacking the Troon. Followed suit at whether it was gunpoint or the looming horror. That's not the right weather. That's not any right weather.
How do you spell it? That's the
Yeah,
astrological. No.
Yeah, that's the
meteorological event.
Meteorological event.
What is?
Weather.
There's no H? No. I don't know how to spell this word.
Is it time to Google? WHETHER.
I just put that in there. Weather.
Followed suit. A weather or not. It.
The others followed suit, whether it was at gunpoint or the looming horror.
Sorry.
Oh, you weren't laughing at the thing I just made funny.
No, it didn't seem to matter. That's funny. But I went to go look up why not WETHER. Weather is a conjunction indicating alternatives. The one with the H.
Oh, it's a conjunction?
Indicating alternatives.
Wait, what's a conjunction? Isn't that when you take two words and smush them together?
Possibly.
With an apostrophe?
Possibly. Weather is the state of the atmosphere. And the one you were spelling, WETHER, is a neutered goat or sheep.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's not what I was trying to get across. The situation was resolving while military on our side was attacking the troon that melted away with the gunfire from all directions. Hannah absorbed the metal back in and ran across the street with Izzy. When they met up with the boys, the military was on the street pointing various...
That seems like two
barrels.
sentences.
It does.
So the boys.
So...
The boys.
Okay. Hannah absorbed the metal back in and ran across the street with Izzy. When they met up with the boys, the military... Okay. I see.
Okay, fix it.
Hannah absorbed the metal back into her and ran across the street. Oh, that's not what I mean. I wanted a comma. Okay, I can type.
You know, we keep adding a lot of commas.
You think after how much I've typed in the past, week and a half, I would be better at this now. But nope, still sucks. My whole friggin' life still sucks.
I was going to say, with how many commas I'm telling you to put in here, it's no wonder why you forgot a comma and apostrophe.
When I wrote this on my phone, I forgot the commas because that comma button is another button that I could hit like B or N by mistake. That's why I forget commas.
I was making a joke about how comma and apostrophe don't often make an appearance in this.
Not often enough, for sure.
Yes.
The military was on the street. They get their spots. They're there.
They're there.
The military was on the street, pointing various and plentiful. That's it. That's the sentence. The military was on the street, pointing various and plentiful barrels in their direction. The team was gone before anything could happen. How many more are out there? Renner said, looking at the screen for the information. It displayed several dots across. What?
Look at the red squiggles.
Behind it. Be high hinid.
Be high hinid?
Behind. That's
behind.
Yeah. All right. And behind means when you're behind somebody who's behind somebody. That's the behind.
Oh, so you're queuing up.
Yeah. And I didn't mean that. She wasn't like that far back. She's right up behind him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
How many more are out there? Renner said, looking at the screen for the information. It displayed several red dots across the map of the U.S. Take us to the next one. He was eager, but Zig knew better. We need to eat and rest, as he told Renner, who didn't notice that Otto had collapsed and Hannah was sitting next to him, exhausted. He is ready to go. He is ready to go, isn't he?
He is. Well, I mean, yeah, he did a lot of running. He's
a sports guy. He's an active guy.
Yeah, but he didn't have to do a lot of magical muscle movement.
Nothing that truly exhausted him because he's already used those muscles his whole life.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Recap.
I almost forgot. Can't forget the recap.
I didn't forget the recap. Recap is like my favorite part. Aw, you know what else is my favorite part? This puppy. She's in my lap and she's loving on me and I love it. Cheese gets eaten. Pepper is a stupid spice. Wow, those are some interesting recap notes. All right. Zig lose like a monster.
He lose it.
Zig looks like a monster. No, he just looks alien. Do you think he looks like a monster? Hey, puppy. It's okay. We're almost done, and then we get to ignore you some more. I'm not ignoring her. I'm giving her.
So Zig looks like a monster. His friend thinks he doesn't matter.
Wow, the way you said that.
He friends think it don't matter.
The way you
Get over it.
No, the way you said that was he doesn't matter.
He don't matter.
Zig looks like a monster.
And they don't care.
His friends.
They're happy with him looking like a monster.
His friends thinks it doesn't matter.
His friends thinks.
His friends think it doesn't matter.
All right, number 2. That was a big sentence for that.
Number 2.
Off to the White House.
Return to the White House because they already did the White House once.
Return to the White House.
The twins. No, the twins intimidate everybody back into the portal, and then bomb. That's what they did.
Yeah.
Hey. Puppy. Quit panting. Hey, quit panting.
And comment if you want to see the picture of the doggo. I'll post a picture of the doggo. Her name is Appendage and we love her.
She is a cute doggo. A bomb. Twins intimidate everyone back into the portal, and a bomb.
I think that'll be enough to remember what happened there.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Have a good day.
I'll shout this into the ether until I die. Thanks for listening. I love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.